All right, so let's just get right into this whole Mayotte clusterfuck.
Yeah.
This tiny-ass island decides to stick with France.
Right.
When the rest of the Comoros told them to piss off back in the 70s when they got their independence. What the fuck is that about?
It's a strange one.
You got this island that's like officially France, using the euro. They even got the French Foreign Legion hanging out there, but it's like dirt poor.
Yeah.
84% are living below the poverty line.
It's crazy.
For Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So what gives?
Well, it is a real head scratcher. You'd think being part of France would be a sweet deal.
Right.
But the reality is far from it.
Yeah.
Mayotte's like this unwanted stepchild.
Yeah.
Stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
They get some benefits, sure.
Yeah.
But they're also grappling with a whole host of problems.
Right.
Poverty, overcrowding, illegal immigration.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
So let's cut the crap. Why the hell would these people choose to stay with France when the rest of the Comoros told them to piss off? It's not like the rest of the archipelago is living high on the hog. What's the goddamn logic?
Well, it's complicated. Back in the 70s, when Comoros voted for independence, Mayotte held its own referendum.
Right.
And the people overwhelmingly chose to stay with France.
Yeah.
There's a few reasons for this.
Okay.
Some believe it was a fear of being marginalized within an independent Comoros, dominated by the other islands.
Okay.
Others saw it as a chance to cling to some economic stability.
Yeah.
Even if it was meager.
Fear and desperation, huh? Sounds about right. But let's be real. The French aren't exactly throwing money at them. They got this 20-year transition plan to become a full-fledged department.
Right.
But it's 2024.
Yeah.
And they're still struggling.
Exactly.
So what the hell is France doing over there?
Well,
Are they just using Mayotte as a strategic outpost or something? I mean, they got the Foreign Legion there.
Yeah.
Seems like overkill for a place this small.
the French military presence is definitely a point of contention.
Yeah.
Officially, it's about protecting French interests and controlling illegal immigration from the Comoros.
Right, right.
But some see it as a way for France to maintain its influence in the region.
Okay.
And let's not forget the economic benefits for France.
What do you mean?
Mayotte's a gateway to the Indian Ocean,
Okay.
and there's potential for resources like fishing and tourism.
Okay, so France is playing the long game, huh? Hoping to cash in on Mayotte's potential.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the island is drowning in poverty.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this whole illegal immigration thing. You got people risking their lives to get to Mayotte from the Comoros. What the hell is driving that?
It's simple economics.
Really?
Mayotte may be poor compared to mainland France, but it's a paradise compared to the rest of the Comoros.
Right.
People are desperate for a better life.
Yeah.
And they see Mayotte as a ticket out of poverty. It's like trying to sneak into a VIP club even if the music sucks.
Yeah.
And the drinks are watered down.
So you got this constant influx of people adding to the population pressure.
Right.
Half the island is under 17 years old.
It's crazy.
And almost half the population are foreign nationals.
Yeah.
Mostly from Comoros.
Yeah.
Isn't this a recipe for disaster?
It's definitely putting a strain on resources and infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it's creating social tensions. You've got this clash of cultures.
Yeah.
With the French trying to impose their laws and customs on a population that's largely Muslim.
Right.
And deeply rooted in traditional beliefs.
Speaking of cultures clashing, let's talk about this linguistic shit show they got going on.
Yeah.
You got Shimor, Kubushi, Arabic, a bunch of Comorian dialects, and then, of course, French.
It's a lot.
How the hell do people even communicate on this island?
It's a linguistic jungle out there.
Right.
French is the official language, but only about half the population speaks it fluently.
Okay.
Shimor, which is related to Swahili, is the most widely spoken native language.
Right.
And then you've got Kibushi, which has links to Madagascar hanging on in certain areas.
Right.
It's a reflection of Mayotte's complex history and the various influences that have shaped its identity.
So it's like a Tower of Babel situation?
Kind of. Yeah.
And on top of that, you get this weird mix of traditional Islamic law and the French legal system. How the fuck does that even work?
Yeah.
It's like trying to mix oil and water.
It creates some bizarre contradictions. You got the French trying to modernize Mayotte.
Right.
While also trying to respect its cultural heritage.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a balancing act that they haven't quite figured out yet.
Let's be real. They got bigger fish to fry. Like, dealing with the fact that this island is basically a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Poverty, overpopulation, cultural clashes. It's a recipe for social unrest.
It's definitely a volatile situation.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, they got slammed by that cyclone Cheeto back in December.
Oh, yeah.
It wrecked a lot of the island,
Jeez.
adding another layer of misery to an already fucked up situation.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
So we got this island that's struggling to cope with its current problems while also facing the looming threat of climate change.
Yeah, it's not a pretty picture.
No.
But amidst all this chaos, there's a glimmer of hope.
Oh, okay.
Mayotte has some unique assets that could potentially turn things around.
Hold on. Are you talking about that damn lagoon again?
Yeah.
I get it. It's beautiful. But can we move on to something a little more interesting?
We'll get to that. But first,
Yeah.
let's dive deeper into this cultural melting pot.
Okay.
Did you know that spirit possession is a big deal in Mayotte?
What?
Especially amongst women. We're talking full-on trance states where people believe they're being taken over by spirits.
Now that sounds fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this spirit possession stuff.
Okay. All right. So spirit possession in Mayotte isn't some fringe thing.
Right.
It's like deeply ingrained in their culture, particularly for women.
Okay.
They believe that they can be possessed by spirits called jinns.
Jinns?
Yeah.
Like genies?
Kind of, but not quite, like the wish-granting kind of.
Right.
These jinns, they're not just nameless entities. They have distinct personalities, backstories, even like recurring roles in the community. It's like having a whole cast of supernatural characters constantly interacting with the living.
Hold the phone. So you're telling me these jinns are like the island's resident drama queens?
Yeah.
Always stirring shit up?
Pretty much.
That's wild. And this is happening right under France's supposedly secular nose.
Exactly. It's a fascinating clash between French secularism and these deeply rooted Islamic and traditional beliefs. The French legal system's there.
Right.
But these spiritual practices continue to thrive.
So they're just ignoring it.
It's more like they're trying to find a way to coexist. It's like two completely different worlds colliding, creating this bizarre cultural tapestry.
It's crazy how these ancient traditions manage to survive, even with all this French influence.
Yeah.
Talking about stubborn. But you mentioned something about a survey of kids earlier. What's that all about?
Right. So back in 2006, they did this survey of CM2 students in Mayotte.
CM what now?
CM2. Think of it like the French equivalent of 5th grade.
Okay.
And what they found was pretty damn interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Remember how we talked about that whole linguistic buffet thing?
Yeah, the Tower Babel shit.
Exactly. Well, it seems like the kids are ditching the diverse menu and opting for the French plat du jour.
So they're trading in their cultural heritage for a side of French fries. I guess even on a remote island, the allure of the global language is hard to resist. What does this mean for the future of their native languages like Chamorro and Kibushi?
That's the million-dollar question. Well, some folks are worried that these languages will just vanish.
Yeah.
Or like get watered down into some French Creole hybrid.
Right.
Imagine losing your linguistic heritage, the very thing that connects you to your ancestors and cultural identity.
Right.
It's a pretty bleak thought.
It's like watching a chameleon trying to blend in but losing all its vibrant colors in the process.
Yeah.
Kind of a shame, really.
Yep.
But hey, at least they have that awesome doubleberry reef to fall back on, right?
Yeah.
That's got to count for something.
You're damn right about that.
Huh?
Mayotte's lagoon and reef system are a biodiversity hotspot.
Okay, here we go again.
We're talking over 250 coral species, 760 kinds of tropical fish, even some rare cetaceans.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
It's like swimming in a real-life aquarium.
So we've got this crazy mix of poverty and paradise.
Yeah.
Cultural clashes and vanishing languages. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yep.
But let's be real. Why should anyone outside of Mayotte give a shit about any of this?
That's a fair question. But Mayotte's story is a microcosm of the challenges that countless communities around the world are facing.
Like what?
Globalization, cultural preservation, economic disparity. It shows how tradition and modernity collide. And the struggle to hold on to cultural heritage in the face of overwhelming change.
So it's like a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
A glimpse into a future where everyone's speaking French, eating croissants, and worshipping gins.
Not necessarily. Mayotte's story is also one of resilience and adaptation.
Okay.
They're figuring out how to navigate this complex landscape, blending tradition with modernity, and creating something entirely new in the process. It's a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring spirit of cultural diversity.
Okay, so there's a sliver of hope in this whole mess.
No.
But let's not forget that goddamn cyclone that ripped through the island. Talk about kicking them while they're down.
Cyclone Cheetah was brutal. It destroyed homes, flattened administrative buildings, even took out a chunk of the town hall in Mamoudzou.
No way.
The capital.
Wow.
It was a devastating setback for a community already facing a mountain of challenges.
It's a stark reminder of how fragile life can be.
Yeah.
Especially for these island nations on the front lines of climate change.
Yeah.
But hey, humans are a resilient bunch. They'll rebuild, adapt, and find a way to move forward. But here's the question that's been bugging me. Amidst all this chaos, is there even a chance in hell that Mayotte can actually thrive?
Now that's where things get really interesting.
Here we go again with the interesting bullshit. Just spit it out, will you?
All right, all right. Despite all the hardships, Mayotte has this unique blend of assets.
Okay.
You've got incredible biodiversity, a vibrant, albeit confusing, cultural mix, and of course the French connection. It's like a diamond in the rough with the potential to really shine if they play their cards right.
So you're saying there's hope, that this island isn't just a lost cause.
Hope is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
With the right investments, smart planning, and a bit of luck.
Okay.
Mayotte could turn its challenges into opportunities.
All right, I'm intrigued. But before we get carried away with dreams of prosperity, let's dive into the nitty-gritty of how Mayotte can actually pull this off. What are we talking about here? Magic beans. A winning lottery ticket.
It's not about magic, it's about strategy. Mayotte needs to leverage its strengths.
Okay.
And one of its biggest strengths is its incredible biodiversity. We've talked about the lagoon.
Right.
But the terrestrial environment is equally fascinating.
Okay.
They've got these pristine forests, untouched ecosystems, teeming with endemic species.
Hold up, endemic species. Are we talking about weird-ass creatures you can't find anywhere else? Because frankly, I'm tired of hearing about the goddamn lagoon.
Exactly. Mayotte's isolation has resulted in unique evolutionary paths.
Okay.
There's a whole range of reptiles, insects, plants, you name it, found nowhere else on Earth. It's a naturalist's wet dream. And that, my friend, is where the opportunity lies.
Okay, I'm listening. So we've got underwater wonders and weird land critters. But how do you turn that into cold, hard cash?
Ecotourism, baby. Imagine instead of hordes of drunk tourists trashing the beaches, you've got responsible travelers eager to experience Mayotte's natural treasures. Okay. Hiking through pristine forests, diving in crystal clear waters, encountering species they've never even heard of. Okay. It's a niche market with huge potential.
So you're talking about swapping out package tours for bird watchers and tree huggers. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. Yeah. But let's be real. Ecotourism is a fragile thing. One bad incident, a dengue fever outbreak, and it's all over.
True, but that's where the French connection comes in. They can use French expertise in sustainable tourism to develop infrastructure, implement safety protocols, and market Mayotte as a premium destination. It's not a quick fix, but it's a long-term strategy with the potential to create jobs, boost the economy, and preserve the island's natural heritage.
Okay, so you're saying they can turn this French headache into a French Riviera. I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about the whole cultural side of things. This melting pot of traditions, languages, and religions could be a draw in itself, right?
Absolutely. Mayotte's cultural blend is a story waiting to be told. Yeah. Imagine festivals showcasing their traditional music and dance, culinary experiences that blend French and Comorian flavors, historical tours that delve into the island's rich past. Okay. It's an opportunity to celebrate diversity and give tourists a glimpse into a truly unique cultural landscape.
So we're talking about turning this cultural clash into a cultural cash cow. I like where your head's at, but let's not sugarcoat it. Mayotte has a shit ton of problems.
Right.
The poverty, the population boom, the political tensions, it's a lot to overcome.
There's no denying that the challenges are immense.
Right.
But amidst all the chaos, there's a glimmer of hope. Mayotte possesses the ingredients for success. natural beauty, a unique cultural identity, and the backing of a global power.
Yeah.
Whether they can capitalize on these assets and forge a brighter future is a question only time will tell.
Well, there you have it. The Tale of Mayotte. An island of contradictions, challenges, and untapped potential. It's a story that makes you think, makes you question.
Right.
And ultimately leaves you pondering the complexities of our interconnected world. And that, my friends, is what the deep dive is all about.
So as you go about your day, remember the tiny island of Mayotte, clinging to the edge of Africa, grappling with its identity and striving for a better tomorrow. It's a reminder that even in the most unexpected corners of the world, hope can blossom.
Yeah.
Resilience can prevail, and the future is never truly written.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating and often bewildering world around us. Okay, so I've talked about the potential, but how the hell do they turn this potential into something real? Are we talking about some pie-in-the-sky fantasy? Or is there a concrete plan to get this island out of the shit?
It's not about fantasy. It's about using their unique assets. We've touched on ecotourism.
Right.
But there's another angle that could be a game changer for Mayotte. Its strategic location.
Wait, are we talking about the French military base thing again? Because that feels more like a liability than an asset to me.
Think bigger.
Okay.
Mayotte sits on a major shipping route in the Indian Ocean.
Right.
It could become a hub for trade and logistics connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe. With the right infrastructure, it could be a major player in the global economy.
So we're saying we're going to turn Mayotte into a goddamn shipping magnate. I like the ambition, but they can barely keep the lights on right now, let alone build a global trade empire.
It's a long-term vision, for sure, but not impossible. France has the resources and the expertise to develop Mayotte's infrastructure. They could build a deep-water port, improve air connectivity, and create a business-friendly environment that would attract foreign investment.
Okay, so France throws in some cash, and we get the Singapore of the Indian Ocean. It sounds a little far-fetched, but I'm willing to entertain the idea. What about the people, though? We talked about all those cultural clashes and tensions. How do they factor into this grand plan?
That's the key. Economic development needs to go hand in hand with social progress. France needs to invest in education, healthcare, and social programs that address the root causes of poverty and inequality. They need to create a society where everyone, regardless of background or beliefs, has an opportunity to thrive.
So we're talking about a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Economic development, social progress, with a dose of cultural sensitivity. It's a tall order, but I guess anything's possible. Yeah. But we can't forget about the elephant in the room. Climate change. How the hell does Mayotte, a tiny island in the middle of the ocean, survive rising sea levels and increasingly extreme weather events?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Mayotte needs to prioritize climate resilience.
What do you mean?
That means investing in coastal protection, sustainable agriculture, and renewable energy sources. It means adapting to the changing environment and building a future that's both prosperous and sustainable.
So we're talking about a complete overhaul of their entire way of life. Yeah. That's a pretty big challenge. Let's wrap things up on a positive note. What's the best case scenario for Mayotte? What does the future hold if they can manage to pull all of this off?
Imagine a Mayotte that's a thriving hub for ecotourism and sustainable development, a place where diverse cultures coexist harmoniously, where poverty is a distant memory, and the natural environment is cherished and protected. A shining example of how a small island can overcome adversity and create a future that's both prosperous and sustainable.
It's a beautiful vision. But let's be real, it's a long shot. But hey, stranger things have happened. Maybe Mayotte will surprise us all and become the success story of the 21st century.
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Mayotte's journey is a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, hope remains.
Well said.
And that's a message worth holding on to.
Absolutely. Well, folks, there you have it, the story of Mayotte. A tiny island grappling with poverty, overpopulation, cultural clashes, and the looming threat of climate change. It's a story of challenges, contradictions, and a glimmer of hope. It's a story that forces us to confront the complexities of our world and to grapple with the big questions facing humanity. And that, my friends, is what the deep dive is all about. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating and often bewildering world around us.